We come to conferences and symposia such as this to listen to each other. As academics, this is what we do. It is important for us to make public what we are working on, our narratives, our creative works, solutions to our problems, studies and researches. We want to hear what fellow academics think about what we are working on, and we respect peer review, and we have this passion to improve on what we do in pursuit of new knowledge as we contribute to the growth of our disciplines. And the idea of sharing and moving our thoughts is part of this academic sharing and authentic cultural dialogue. Today, in the 21st century, in this digital era, this usual complex collaboration and networking is made possible with more ease and satisfaction. Paatwi, you remember, we've been working on this, all of us, OU5, we've been working on this for 7 years. It's been a long journey. And I can say it's a very rewarding journey, and we've come a long way. The OU5, Universitas Terbuka, Sukhothai Tamatirat Open University, Open University of Malaysia, Hanoi Open University, and of course UP Open University, pioneered the true collaboration and networking of scholars from conceptualization, course design, and the production of the foundation courses of our ASEAN studies through our voices, through our lenses. It is most appropriate that our community of scholars are committed to speak with our voices to cultivate the field framed with the Universitas ethos of research, teaching, and learning and service to society. I speak as an administrator of an open and distance e-learning institution, as an artist, a multimedia practitioner, a researcher, and an advocate for the use of open and distance e-learning that maximizes the affordances of ICT and Web 2.0. And as a teacher, and now developing the Art in ASEAN course is what I will be speaking about. So I'd like to share this with you. And of course, as someone who sees the value in teaching art in a cultural critical perspective, grounding research, teaching, and learning approach in a multidisciplinary platform, making use of interpretive areas of sociology, anthropology, media studies, and art studies in making sense and meanings of art, artworks, artifacts, and artists. It also situates art in everyday life and art as and in public spaces. So this is a narrative of the process that I am going through in developing, designing, and producing art in the ASEAN course as part of the Master of ASEAN Studies being offered by our university. And the course is on its first offering this semester. Artworks are products of cultures, ways of life of different people with shared meanings in facing their challenges and potentials, creating the identities of nations. Talking about art and culture necessarily means talking about our nations. The aspects that have the strongest influence in the art and artworks are the government's cultural directions, religion, art trade, art education, and the artists as they see themselves as artisans, craftspeople, or empowered artists. And the framework used in the course design, the development and production, and the sample course activities foregrounds multimedia as research. The course captures the visuality of the artworks and the orality of the artists and the other major participants in the process that contributes in the creation of the arts and reflects the cultures of ASEAN nations. The course is propelled by a completely online teaching and learning environment which positions academic text in hard print into hypertext, visual text as hypermedia, and audio and moving images as hyper-multimedia or rich media. Online teaching and learning is meant to enhance the learning experiences of our students and to reach more Filipinos in our country and abroad, and for all those who want to access it. We are all concerned with the concept of openness and being open universities, and the dramatic changes in recent years in the field of information and communication technologies, or ICT, brought e-learning in the center of higher education in our university and added new dimensions to openness. And in a networked society, and how fast the exchanges of ideas are, the internet is this unending trillion conversations, making use of all media, and we have print, we have radio, television, all rolled into a medium that is multimedia. Print, graphics, audio, video, all different media together with its own set of grammar and syntax, giving openness this new excitement and synergy in these new dimensions of connectivity, interactivity, ubiquity, framed in this automatic, constructivist, participatory pedagogy of teaching and learning. This multimedia digital era not only calls for knowledge of different literacies, but what is more exciting is you have this multimedia that captures orality, the exchange of ideas verbally, and you have moments of quietly contemplating in modes of visuality. We have put our university in a whole new world of teaching and learning. The widening of the virtual teaching and learning culture worldwide has ushered in the changing learning styles of our students. Each year, more and more digital natives are joining the higher education sector. Even digital migrants like us are constantly being put in a position where we have to adapt to a new technology, challenging us faculty and learners to develop other media literacies and deep realization that teachers and learners are co-creators of academic texts through research and praxis, pushes new knowledge for the growth of our disciplines and communities of practice. The Odell framework allows me to configure my course in expanding the various ways of making ideas move dynamically. With this view that the internet is able to carry these conversations, dialogue, voices, images, the movement, synchronously and asynchronously, enabling the use of Web 2.0 platform. Its course objectives, my course, ASEAN 222, to understand the creative traditions in architecture, sculpture, painting, weaving, theater, and dance in Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos, Brunei, Singapore, and the Philippines. Have an enriched understanding of monuments, architecture, murals, performances, and sculpture as public art. Understand some of the major religions and belief systems strengthening the arts of ASEAN region. Consider the effects of world trade, colonial experiences, popular culture, museums, gallery, distribution, and ideas of national pastime and entertainment in the formation of national traditions of art, and practice critical thinking in the study of the arts. To be more specific, this is part of my course. If you could see, and there are some buttons there to be clicked. My course in our LMS, my portal, I consider my classes as research classes as well, and this contributes in ushering in new knowledge in our discipline. I have posted on this slide how the multimedia materials are presented in the course site. And you can just click on it, and the learner, participant can right away access the material anywhere and anytime. And I facilitate the maximum exchange of ideas among learners through online forums. Students submit their papers and multimedia requirements online and conduct and disseminate their research using multimedia approaches and formats. I do feedback and give both qualitative and numerical assessment. Our course materials are designed using the resource-based course package approach. All interactions between and among faculty, tutors, and students take place in a Moodle-powered learning management system, or LMS, and we call it My Portal. As you know, this LMS has features of online forums, chats, video conferencing, blogs, and other communication tools. And the ASEAN 222 course is designed as such. This is Unit 1 and 3, and I'm skipping the Unit 2. I'll show to you the Unit 2 later. And the students will be asked to read chapters from ebooks, e-journal articles, and video lectures, both accessible from eLibrary or the web, or produced by UPOU Multimedia Center. Unit 1, Introduction to ASEAN Art, Art as Identity and Reading the Arts. Researching ASEAN art, art as epistemological lens, art research methods. Now, let me talk about the learner content teacher community of practice interactions happening online. And the learner-learner interaction, we do it online, forums, chats, and we go beyond this. The course guide and the resources listing. There are questions in online forums to expand the concepts in their own context. Students are encouraged to post their ideas and react to each other's postings. And then, of course, content, learner content. Content is delivered through technology and, of course, through journal articles, videos, resource persons, together with the videos of our artists and art scholars that are produced by UPOU's Multimedia Center. I guide students to produce videos to document and for creative work grounded on authentic beats of their own communities in socio-political economic context in which these stories are situated, mandating my students to produce only original text and elicit reflective thinking from them. I have produced video lectures of my own and are accessible in UPOU networks. After their submission, I provide the numerical and descriptive assessment. And of course, the community of practice interaction, aside from being immersed in their communities when they do their video research, they are encouraged to enter the works in the platforms of Vimeo and YouTube, digital video exhibitions, festivals, and competitions. UPOU organizes exhibitions and competitions every year for its students to elevate the discourse into public spaces. I've started the videography of some of the art and artworks, artists and other players in the art scene of ASEAN region. It is most important that I capture the authentic voices of the artists, art critics, cultural sociologists and anthropologists, art curators, art traders, art patrons, national and local cultural officials, and the other stakeholders in art and culture. This automatically produces academic texts, orally, and visually putting forth the importance of developing and strengthening other forms of literacies. The use of written words alone may not be doing justice to the need for authenticity and capturing of the true beat of art and culture of each nation. Its uniqueness and diversity of our cultures and identities, our region's respect for our diversity of cultures is our richness and our strength as ASEAN. These are the areas where we can produce, where we're doing video production, materials of original text, and hopefully we're in the middle of the production, and hopefully our OU5 would do some collaboration and produce an original text, and because this is all for OER sharing And all our universities can make use of this in our own programs in ASEAN. Since our students, teachers are co-creators of academic texts, these are topics that I have identified and where our students and myself will be working on. I will not read this anymore, just go through this quickly. And Indonesia, Batik, we've done some modules on this. And while the others do not have modules, I'll be putting in materials that we can see on the web. And that will give us a better picture of the whole art in ASEAN. And we've done Borobudur, yes. I'll show you, okay, let me now go to this particular, at this point, this is the assessment. But I would like to show you, let me show you some very short excerpts of what the original multimedia text that we've been producing for ASEAN 222. A 3-minuter that would put in seconds of the 10 productions. Can you put it on? Our technical director will do that.
Candi Borobudur dibangun di atas bukit dengan bentuk piramida berunda dan terbuat dari batuan andesit yang berjumlah lebih dari 2 juta blok dan pemasangan kembali bagian-bagian candi.
And we wanted it in Bahasa, our own voice, your own voice, explaining.
Sehingga terjadilah perang
And then we
dengan
just have
Rama. Dan setelah itu ia kembali menghadap Rama.
For the first process, we put the wax on the basic motif of the pencil like this one.
ใช่กรองเสร็จแล้วเราก็มาใส่ถังสต๊อกนี้แล้วก็
We have to have human. You have to soul to make this film, you know.
This temple combined with the palace. The palace is the other side.
Mrs. Panom Thapang. She is a national artist in the field of visual art, fine art, art of woven fabric.
ของเรานี่นะคะที่แตกต่างจากที่อื่นก็คือเราจะ
The bulul is part and parcel of the Ifugao life.
Nan iyam mamin kayo nan mapaktan pesyuan mi masalah di bagi mi.
These colors here are natural. Yeah, it's not dyed.
Cotton threads are usually used by ikat weavers.
Vinalit.
Yes, vinalit.
There is a saying that to teach art and learn art, it is important to experience art. In the design of the activities, assessment and evaluation, the addition to new knowledge in the field of study, the theorizing is seen in the selection of the footage, its putting together of footage and sets the viewer's thinking and interpreting additional insights and interpretations to go beyond cliches and mainstream interpretations, strengthened by synthesis and reflection papers. This pushes viewers, the student, the teacher, and those who will eventually see and understand the multimedia use to immerse in the arts and engage in critical thinking through the making accessible through multimedia, the images, conversations, interpretations by those who are participating. And these are the course requirements. We have the forum participation, synthesis papers, reflection papers, field work, research, and video documentation, and exhibition and critique, and they will critique each other. The Unit 2 will be offered as a short course. The Unit 2, which is in the middle of the course, will be offered as a MOOC. And my students will still be learning, responding, and submitting requirements in my portal, but I will require my students to also enter the MOOC version so they can collaborate with the larger community of learners, researchers, and as co-creators of academic texts in this course. Our ASEAN Studies is alive as a search for our identities as nations in proximity. We see our cultural diversity, our strength. As we rigorously study and articulate our areas of strengths and challenges as a people, we are to find our dynamic discursive spaces for grounding intersecting spaces on multi-textual levels of complexities, ushering shared meanings that will eventually be defined, articulated, and theorized on what binds us as ASEAN. Art in ASEAN is only one of the many courses that will contribute to the understanding and explaining the many questions posted to us on ASEAN. And factors of diversity, multi-racial, multilingual roots, diversity in government's view of how much arts is essential for economic, political, and social and cultural development, our varied religions and belief systems as it dominates ways of life and everyday realities affecting art forms and the philosophies behind them, and education systems as it varies, giving importance or marginalizing of ASEAN as a discipline, post-colonial experiences in a national scale, and the past and present resistance and decolonization process, and ASEAN academics, researchers, varying commitment to ASEAN studies as a discipline. So there is diversity there. Despite these efforts, the university is aware that there are still some issues and challenges in open and distance e-learning that we must address. More empirical, socio-cultural, critical research. We have to encourage faculty to publish our ASEAN researches, use multimedia not only as an object of study, but also as a methodological approach and a means of disseminating our research findings beyond academic circles, putting the face and capturing the beat of ASEAN research, and claiming e-public spaces for discourse. Collaboration and networking in ASEAN research. ASEAN researchers, writers, producers of multimedia texts, and new knowledge in ASEAN studies, redefining, repositioning research, teaching, and learning, its medium, content, context of ASEAN discourse. And, of course, we want the MOOCs, the ASEAN version of MOOCs. I think Dr. Chylard is the one in charge here. And expanding digital spaces for publication of ASEAN open educational resources, OERs for open or free sharing, claiming spaces in all media environments for public discourse beyond academic circles, instill and reaffirm ethos of academic excellence, academic freedom, humanism, intellectual pluralism, and service to society for eventual social transformation, contributing to ASEAN discourse. So we have to collaborate and network more in these changing times for the future of ASEAN studies and to engender ASEAN discourse. So thank you very much. Thank you.